Throughout this title, we've been looking at how we can style a whole variety of different elements with CSS, many of those by using the background property, and we've seen background used in image replacement and in page layouts and other areas to enhance the presentation, enhance the visual results of our designs. Now in the last movie, we applied some borders to a standard data table. So let's first of all remind ourselves of what the table looked like just after attaching some borders. So I'm going to bounce back over into Firefox, and here we can see a tidy but unimaginative looking data table. So let's see what we can do with that. One of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a background to each of the table headers. And I'm sure by now you're familiar with the syntax for the background property. So here on table heads, we're applying a background image, this time th.png, and we're setting its repeat property to repeat x, which is along the horizontal axis. With one small change, we're able to see the table taking on a little bit more character. So let's refresh in the browser. And now we've given the table heads the same stripy background that we're going to be using for our field sets and other form elements in the next chapter. But that's not all we can do with tables using backgrounds. In the document here, you'll notice that I've got two styles set up. And style 2, which I've already added into the document, is commented out by means of these CSS comments. So it's interesting to see how we can use comments to have more than one style present in our style sheet, but by using comments to make one style sheet active and the other, in this case, inactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncomment the second style and then comment out the first style, which was the one that we were using a moment ago. Notice in Dreamweaver, the code editor now makes that grey. So now we're using another set of rules which are already present in the document, but by using comments, we've made one style active and the other one not. So now let's save the file. Before I preview in Firefox, let's take a look at some of the changes that we've made. First of all, I'm now using the letter spacing property, which we saw from the previous movies when we were styling text. And here I'm spreading out the letters by a small, flexible 0.2 em. I'm also changing the border style on entire tables. So now, rather than border none, which was in our previous example, we're using border 1 pixel black. I'm now changing the style of the THs to give them a background colour. But also now I'm changing the colour of the text to white, making the font bold and applying a little bit more padding around the THs. So let's save this file now and see how this is looking in Firefox. Let's do refresh, and one style goes away, and as if by magic another style appears. So here in the browser you'll notice the letter spacing that we applied to the caption, and the background colour and text colours that we applied to the table heads. We'll also see that we've applied a background colour, in this case pink, to all of the table rows. So let's come back into our code editor, and we can see here how we've applied the background colour of pink to the table rows that sit inside only the T body element. So let's just save that file and have one final look at a more interesting data table styled this time just with background colours in CSS, but also showing how we can use more than one style in our CSS file and then switch between them by using comments.